The Golden State Warriors have had themselves a pretty good offseason. They may have lost some of their veteran free agents, but they made some savvy moves in adding guys like Donte DiVincenzo and JaMychal Green to replace those guys. They also made some excellent picks in the draft. This video is going to be a deep analysis of the Warriors roster for the upcoming season in the order of the Dubs depth chart at each position. But before we continue, I'm trying to hit 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please, if you enjoy the content, please like the video and hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. You didn't need me to tell you that Steph Curry will be the starting point guard of the Warriors next year. Steph is still very much at the top of his game. In last year's playoffs, he averaged 27 points, 5 boards, and 6 assists per game. His greatness in the finals led to him winning the first finals MVP of his career, along with his 4th NBA championship. And despite being up there in the years at 34 years old, Steph is showing no signs of slowing down. Thanks to the fact that he keeps himself in great shape and his incredible work ethic, Steph has remained ultra elite despite the wear and tear on his body. Similar to other great vets like LeBron and Chris Paul, Steph's game will age gracefully throughout his late 30s. Behind Steph will be the third Splash Brother, aka Jordan Poole. Poole had a breakout season last year, averaging 18 points and 4 assists per game in just his 3rd year in the league. Poole was an amazing 6-man, but he also proved to be amazing as a starter, holding down the starting point guard spot while Steph was injured with a foot sprain. Like Steph, Poole is a lights out shooter with deep range, but he's also super quick, which allows him to regularly beat his man for strong finishes at the rim. Poole will more than likely go back to his 6-man role next season, where he will be leading one of the top second units in the NBA. Next, we got Mac McClung. McClung is on a non-guaranteed deal, so he's fighting for a roster spot in training camp, but if he does make the team, he'll likely be the 3rd string point guard. McClung could potentially be a diamond in the rough for Golden State. After going undrafted in 2021, he thrived in the G League, earning Rookie of the Year honors. The Warriors added him to their Summer League team, and he played well enough to earn a 1-year contract. McClung is a speedy, ultra-athletic guard that can get to the rim, score the basketball, and create for others. He has the potential to be a spark plug off the bench, but making the rotation, let alone the 15-man roster, will be an uphill battle for McClung. And 4th in the point guard rotation is Pat Spencer. Originally a lacrosse legend, Spencer played professional ball in Germany before playing for the Wizards G League team, and he also played for Washington's Summer League team in Las Vegas. Spencer is unlikely to make the Warriors 15-man roster, but there's a chance he ends up on their G League team. Now we move on to shooting guards. Klay Thompson will no doubt get the start at the 2-guard spot here. He played extremely well last season for a player coming off 2 brutal leg injuries. He struggled in the first 10 or so games back, but eventually he caught his groove and finished the season averaging 20 points per game on 43% shooting from the field and 38% from deep. With a full season post-injury under his belt, expect Klay to be even better next season. He should eventually get his defensive prowess back, and his shooting will only get better, giving the Warriors even more star power. Backing up Klay Thompson will be Donte DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo was one of the biggest steals in free agency in my opinion. He's coming off a down year after a brutal ankle injury, but when he was last healthy, he was one of the top 3-and-D players in the league. DiVincenzo will play a role similar to Gary Payton II next season as a high-energy, low-usage defensive guy off the bench. If Donte can get back to the level he was on the Bucks, then this makes the Warriors' second unit incredibly scary. Next, we have Ryan Rollins. The Warriors traded a 2nd-round pick along with cash to move up to pick 44 to draft him. Rollins is a 6'4" combo guard with a 6'10" wingspan. In college, he was a very good scorer that could create for himself in the mid-range and get to the basket. He's also got good court vision and can set up his teammates, but he's mostly a score-first player. Rollins probably won't get much minutes in his rookie season, so he more than likely will spend plenty of time in Santa Cruz so he can get more burn. And last in the shooting guard rotation is Lester Quinones. After going undrafted, the Warriors signed Quinones to a 2-way contract in July, which will allow him to split time between the regular season roster and their G League team. He's known as a knockdown 3-point shooter that also handles the ball pretty well. He'll likely spend plenty of time in the G League next season, but could get called up if the Warriors find themselves dealing with injuries. Now we move on to small forwards, where Andrew Wiggins without question will get the start. Last season, Wiggins became one of the top 2-way players in the league, averaging 17 points per game, while also being a lockdown wing defender. This earned Wiggins the first All-Star selection of his career. He played amazing for the Dubs in the finals, shutting down Jason Tatum while scoring at a high level and rebounding the hell out of the basketball. Wiggins is undoubtedly one of the Warriors' most valuable pieces. Backing up Andrew Wiggins will be second-year player Jonathan Kuminga. Kuminga should be ready for an increased role off the bench next season. He's a physical specimen at 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan, and he's got great speed and athleticism. Kuminga is a pretty good perimeter defender and a very good slasher, but an area he really needs to improve is his outside shooting. If Kuminga can become an above average shooter, then he'll definitely open the door for Steve Kerr to play him big minutes. Next, we have Moses Moody, who was selected in the same draft class as Kuminga with the 14th pick. He's got excellent size for a wing player at 6'6" with a 7'1" wingspan, and he's shown that he can really defend. And on offense, he's a good three-point shooter, but he can also put the ball on the floor and score at the basket. Moody has a chance to be a part of the Warriors' second unit next season, but he'll have to compete with other deserving young players on the Warriors roster, along with the veterans that the Warriors added. And last on the small forward depth chart is Quinndary Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon was on a two-way contract for the Dubs last year, and he'll be on a two-way contract with them again this year. Weatherspoon is a skilled combo guard that can shoot and score the basketball, and he averaged 25 points per game for Santa Cruz last year. I would expect Weatherspoon to spend most of his time in the G League again next season, while getting called up occasionally. At power forward, there's no doubt Draymond Green gets the start. Draymond is the most underrated player on the team in my opinion. He doesn't have the most eye-popping stat sheet, but he brings great value on both ends. On defense, he's a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and on offense, he's an excellent screen setter and passer. He's also a vocal leader that calls out plays and gets his teammates in the right spot, and he plays with a high level of intensity that's infectious to the rest of the team. He's one of the main reasons the Warriors are consistently a contender year after year. Backing up Draymond will be JaMychal Green. Green was a savvy pickup for the Warriors in free agency. He's a good defender, a good rebounder, and a good three-point shooter, and like Draymond, he's also a veteran locker room presence. Overall, JaMychal Green will be really valuable to the Warriors as a 3-and-D guy off the bench next season. And lastly, at power forward, we have Patrick Baldwin Jr. The Warriors took Baldwin Jr. with the 28th pick in this year's draft. This was a very savvy selection by the Warriors. PBJ was once projected to be a lottery pick, but his draft stock took a hit after a rough college season at Milwaukee, but that was largely due to injury. PBJ likely won't play much his rookie year and will spend a lot of time in the G League, but his upside is off the chain. He's a 6'9" forward that can raise over defenders easily, and he's a knockdown shooter, but he can also put the ball on the floor, drive the basketball, and pass well. He's got potential to be a great offensive player, but the Warriors will bring him along slowly to help him maximize his potential. Finally, we move on to center. Kevon Looney will get the start at center as Steve Kerr made this clear a couple weeks ago. Looney earned his starting position with his high level of play last season. Looney is a very good defender and rebounder while also being a solid finisher at the basket. Bringing him back on a 3-year deal was a huge W for the Warriors organization. Backing up Looney will be James Wiseman. Wiseman has the opportunity to make the Warriors a much better team next season. He gives them something they haven't had in a while, and that's an elite lob-catching center. Wiseman's size and athleticism makes him a terrific scorer as a roll man out of pick and rolls, but he really needs to get better defensively as he was a mess on defense his rookie year. He's also got to learn how to avoid injury. After a year and a half removed from playing in the NBA game, bringing him back slowly in a reserve role is the optimal move for the Warriors. And finally at center we have Trevion Williams. Williams is another guy on a non-guaranteed contract with a chance to earn a roster spot. He's a 6'10" center that can score in the post, rebound, and pass the ball extremely well, but he's also a huge mess defensively. The Warriors system has always valued good passing bigs, so if he makes the roster, he could add value as a backup center. And with that said guys, that's going to be the end of the video. What do you think of the Warriors roster for the upcoming season? Tell me in the comments. Make sure you like the video and subscribe, and click this video to see why Donte DiVincenzo and JaMychal Green were free agency steals for the Warriors.